Well, good afternoon YouTube. Tomorrow I'm planning to do a nice big cook-off in the ugly drum and on my Weber. In the ugly drum I'm going to be doing this pork shoulder and doing some pulled pork, and on the Weber I'm going to do my big burgers, you know, the ones I showed you last time. And then what I'm going to do with the pulled pork and the burgers is put it all in a bun together with some cheese. Oh, it's going to be tasty. Alright, so let's get started on preparing the meat. So, first of all, we'll just move that to one side to show you the knives I'm going to use. This knife, I think they call that a paring knife. To be honest with you, it's pretty good. It's got a nice point on it, you can get right into things with that. I'm not a knife expert, so I don't know what it is. And then I've got this beauty. Now, I just want to give a big shout out to the Burns clan up there in Tomarton in Scotland. They bought me this for my birthday, I think it was last year. It is reindeer antler and cold hard steel. I'm going to be using that as well. Try it out. I've sharpened them right up with this knife sharpener. On here you've got a coarse side and a smooth side, so you can just get the edges nice. Always make sure though afterwards, something I've noticed, give the knives a bit of a wash afterwards because they have little filings, metal filings on them. You don't want that in your food. Okay, so without further ado, let's get the pork shoulder on the go. In fact, what I'll do is I'll cut it open in the sink, but I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so here we are. Always got a bowl of soapy water nearby, just to wash my hands, keep things nice and clean, so that we do not cross-contaminate bits and pieces. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to cut the strings. So we open it out. So we'll cut 1, 2, 3, 4 strings off there and just remove those. Plus, into the bin. Now, a pork shoulder, which is rolled, looks like this. Now this one has still got a little bit of ice in it because I froze it, but you've got a bit, you know, it's quite firm in that state. So once I've prepared it and everything, we will be able to let it thoroughly defrost before we cook it. So you've got the skin here, which you don't really want. It turns into a beautiful crackling, but we want to remove that. So let's use the antler knife that my friends gave me. So you just go, you pull the skin back and you just go as close as you can to the inside of the skin. Don't cut toward the meat. And as you're cutting, or as you're trimming, pull the skin upward. Now I might not be doing this right, but this is how I do it. So it works for me. And all we're doing, we're just making sure we're pulling that skin away, but we're leaving a little bit of fat on there, which will render in nicely. My knife skills are probably not as good as they used to be. I used to prepare meat for a supermarket. I suppose you'd call that being the butcher, and I've also worked in the abattoir industry as well. So I've been there at the inception and at the end of the cut as well. So as you can see, it's reflecting the skin away from the shoulder. Like I say, you might end up with a little bit of meat on there, but don't worry, that's not going to go to waste. That skin I'm actually going to make into some pork crackling on my Weber. So we turn it over so it's facing me a bit more, and we need to get under here and reflect it a bit more. Now this side, you're pulling off quite a bit of meat. So I'm going to go underneath there. Try and get as close as I can to the skin. There we go. A good sharp knife is always handy here. And I just use like a downward sort of stroke. Let's have a trim on that and have a look at that. So we're just cutting this little skirt off, not skirt, but skin. And there we have it. Bit of skin and connective tissue there. Right, certain bits you can throw in the bin, but this beauty here is going to get crackling. It's going to be turned into crackling. Now look, you can see I've messed up a little bit there. There's a bit of meat on there. We can always take that off. We can have that as the cook's share, you know, which will be ready before the pork butt itself. So cut that close to the skin. And that there, cook share, that's mine. Skin, beautiful, already scored in the supermarket where I bought it. Scored and wrapped already. I put that to one side, put the skin to one side too. I'll put it in here for now. Now, what we need to do is prepare our shoulder for its marinade or its rub, if you want to call it that. Yeah, look at that. That looks lovely, doesn't it? So I'm just going to wash my hands again, and then I'm going to score it a few times, just so that that marinade goes right in there. Okay, let's use the antler knife again. We're going across, just making a few cuts, crisscross it like that. I'm not after perfection. Turn it over, look at that meat. All good meat that is. Right, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to pat it dry a little bit. It has got some moisture on. There we go. Yeah, you don't want to get it too dry. You need something for it to stick to. Okay, so here we are, all ready and prepared. Now we're going to season it. I'm going to just clean my hands up again so I can touch the seasoning without putting any contamination. Okay, so we're now going to put some rub on this. Now we're going to use seasonal, which contains paprika, black pepper, and celery seeds. It's a good all-round seasoning. And then we're also going to use some buffalo seasoning as well, which gives it that kind of that sort of barbecue-y sort of taste. So that's where we're going to start, with the buffalo. And we evenly put a bit on like that, spreading it over. We're getting quite low on this one, so must be sparing with it. But this will give it a kind of a background taste. There we go. Right, that's that finished. I knew I was getting low on that, but I wanted to use it up. Now we put the all-purpose on. A nice bit of all-purpose. Get that right in there. Put some on there, get the ends. Shout out to Ryan G, you're my inspiration for all of this. check his channel out, Ryan G's Barbecue and stuff. He's got some excellent cooks on there. And like I say, he's really my inspiration for doing this. A bit more. Cut it in, turn her over, pick up all that lovely seasoning off the board, and then straight in there. So let's get our butcher's cut, the cooked cut. That's actually a piece of tendon, so we'll get rid of that. And what we're going to do, just give my hands another little rinse, so I'm not contaminating this pot. We'll put a bit of seasoned oil in the back of that, on that, turn it over, and rub that right in. Give it a good rub. So it gets in all those little cuts and cracks. Put a few more in if you like. There you go, look. A few cuts and cracks in there. And this is going to make a lovely pork crackling on the Weber. So I'll put that in the pot. Put the cook's cut. Just pick up all the rest of that in there. In there. Now we're going to clean everything down, and I'll get back to you tomorrow when I start cooking it. Alright, so enjoy this. I know we're going to enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching.
Good morning, YouTube. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Time to get the smoker started. Let's go for it. Okay, I've got my coffee. I've bought myself one of these light the bag briquette packs. That will help the smoker get going. I've also got my Barbie Quick briquettes. So let's go and get the smoker rolling. You can see it's a pretty grotty day today. The wind's up a little bit, so that should be fun with the cooking. Anyway, to the smoker. Got it loaded. Now we're going to get it lit. I've never tried one of these light the bag briquette ones before, so we'll see how that goes. As you can see, it seems to be heating up nicely. We'll let that get going. I'll let it get hot and I'll get back to you. Okay, so we just let that heat up fully. And we'll get smoking. She's smoking. At the moment we're up to 128 degrees centigrade. Once it's settled down at a steady 160, something like that, I'll put the pork on. Lovely pork shoulder and crackling, ready to go on. Today we're going to smoke with some pear wood chips. What I'll do is I'll put them in my little smoke box, and what I tend to do is add a little bit of moisture to there so that they create a lot more smoke. So I'll just get that started. I also put a little handful of oak in there. Can't resist just messing around with stuff, but hey, I bet the flavour's going to be delicious. So we'll get this damped down with some water, and then I shall put it on the coal. Now, just sitting at the back, that will build up a nice bit of smoke. Better shut the door, keep it heated. Right, excuse me, as you can see, the pork has accumulated quite a bit of liquid, and I think that's because of the salt in the rum. So I think temperature's about right. It's about 140 degrees centigrade. So we'll pop the pork shoulder on and get cooking. So there it is in its finery. I decided to put the crackling on just to give it a bit of a smoke before we finish it off on the Weber. Everything's getting right. Better put the lid on, get the temperature back. We're an hour in, let's have a look at that lovely smoke. Very, very nice. Right, put the lid back on, keep the heat in. 2 hours in, let's have a look. Hot. Whoa, look at that smoke. That's starting to look absolutely lush. Okay, so we've wrapped the pork. It's been on for 4 hours at the moment. The old crackling's got a nice colour to it. That's my little bit there that I'm going to test. So what I've done is I've mixed up a gravy using leftover barbecue sauce, a little bit of stock, etc. Double lined tin foil there, tipped the liquor over the pork, wrapped it up, and now it's going to stay in there for another hour or so just to soak in all that moisture, and then we'll break it down. Got the Weber started now, just right at the beginning. Wait till them coals go a nice grey colour, and then we can start cooking the beef burgers on there. I'm very excited. So we're just testing out the meat. This is the cook's piece. I'll have a little taster of that and see what it's like. Man, that was delicious. Beautiful. So this is how the pork's turned out. It's a little bit tougher than normal. Perhaps it could have done with a bit longer on there. I don't know. There's the crackling. Blackling crackling. Anyway, back in a mo, and I'll show you the burgers are nearly done. And then we're going to plate up. Young beauties. All ready to get in the bun. And then get down my neck. Well, folks, there it is. All that cooking. All that cooking. And it's probably going to be gone in 5 minutes. Pork didn't come out just how I wanted it. Bit of a shame, probably could have done with a bit longer. Burgers are lush. Enjoy. Here we go then, a nice try. Oh man, that's delicious. Try a bit of the pork. Bit tougher than I usually like, but the flavour of the rubs has gone through, so it's absolutely fantastic. Well, thanks for watching. Speak to you again soon. My verdict. I think the pork could have been a lot better. I think 2 things. I think I over-seasoned it, and I don't think I cooked it for long enough. It was cooked all the way through, but it was rather tough. Burgers were large. So sometimes it's a bit hit and miss, not guaranteed all the time. Meat was okay, just wanted it to fall off, fall apart a bit more. But hey, we'll keep practicing, we'll keep trying, we'll stay positive, because positivity is important. See you later.